Hey everyone, welcome to a random episode here from Understanding Bitcoin Conference in London. Advancing Bitcoin Conference in London. It's been a long day. And Jimmy, this was put on by one of your former students.
Yeah, Leon put this on. I taught him almost exactly a year ago, and Stepan I also taught like about a year ago. So it's kind of a little mini reunion of a lot of the programming blockchain alumni. So it's kind of.
I think also was like a year ago on your course.
Yeah. So Justin Moon is here, and he also took my course. There's several other people that took my course as well. So it's very gratifying. I'm kind of like a proud papa.
Yeah, you got a bunch of former students. So we were able to round up some of the speakers that were at this event. So let's see what their thoughts are. We got Nicolas Doria right here, creator of BTCpay server. So let us know what you talked about at the conference and what the latest is with your work and where you up to next.
Well, so during my presentation, basically I was explaining to people how BTCpay deployment system was working under the hood, with the expectation that once people start to understand how it works, they start building upon BTCpay without needing my permission or like my help to get things done. Yeah, I was a bit afraid if people had no idea about what BTCpay was, but well, it seems it has gone well. And so what's going on next in BTCpay? So in BTCpay there is no like real roadmap. It's basically there is a bunch of contributor and like people get excited about something and they just start coding it and shipping it fast. So Rockstar Dev right now is working around some fiat integration stuff. Myself, I don't really know exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it, but we'll see that coming. There is Cooks that is working on payment request in BTCpay. So the idea is that if you are a freelancer and want to send an invoice to your customer, it's like an easy way to customize these kind of things. And yeah, on the short term, that's about it. On the medium term, we'll see.
So during your presentation, people got a little upset that you were showing that BTCpay server is very easily integrated with almost any shitcoin imaginable. And some of the questions were like, does it degrade the functionality of BTCpay server if you have to keep in mind, how to use it for Ripple and God knows what else?
Of course, I know. So, but I only support shitcoin that are a fork of Bitcoin because like
not Ripple.
Not Ripple. Not Ripple.
So like Litecoin and some of the other ones, so that's not a direct fork.
Yeah. So Litecoin is fine. So basically, Ripple and Ethereum has very different design, or Monero has very different design. Supporting it will mean that I need to do major change inside BTCpay, and because I don't really give a shit about them, like.
So it's all down to the RPC calls, basically.
Yes, exactly. So, BTCpay is basically using peer-to-peer connections plus RPC. And like if you're a clone of Bitcoin Core and you support the same call and the same protocol, then it just works.
So that's about 2,000 different altcoins then.
Yeah, exactly. So on my side, I don't spend time integrating it by myself. Like when shitcoiners come and want to integrate themselves, I tell them, oh, you need to integrate yourself first on NBitcoin, then onto NBExplorer, then to BTCpay, then to the BTCpay Docker. And like, if you don't know what to do, then like figure out by yourself and they just do it by themselves.
I do know that the slide that you used when describing the shitcoin integration went down well on Twitter last night. I did see somebody sharing that. That was a brilliant slide, to be fair.
I don't, like, if they're not happy, that was the point of my talk, they can just fork. And actually, I encourage them to fork. So, for example, one of the forks that existed was LTCP. So LTCpay. So, for example, when you start BTCpay, you have the main page at the beginning is basically talking about Bitcoin and like they wanted to change this page. So they basically forked BTCpay for this, and it's the way it should be done. If they are not happy, they should just fork. And on my side, I'm just working on Bitcoin, and I'm only interested on Bitcoin. So if they want more attention, they should just fork and maintain it by themselves.
Last question for you. Are you working on anything for Bitcoin Core these days? Any new features into Bitcoin that you're working on, testing on?
So on Bitcoin Core, no. So I contributed a little bit in the past in Bitcoin Core, but actually C++ is not really like my main environment. It's not my natural environment. So like everything I want to do on Bitcoin Core take like 10 times more in terms of coding. And once I'm done coding, it takes 100 times more trying to convince other people to merge it. So basically, I don't contribute too much on Bitcoin, not at all this day actually, to Bitcoin Core, and I prefer just building stuff on top of it, like NBExplorer and BTCpay server, where I'm more. I can ship things faster and get feedback faster and like work in an environment that I know.
All right. So since I'm gonna forget this question before we move on over to Nopara, and it's coming from the live audience. I'm actually not familiar with this, and it says, "What do you guys think of Luke Dash Jr.'s new advisory about the Bitcoin vulnerability CVE-2587?" Anyone familiar with this?
Which one is this?
2018.
It doesn't say. All right. So Gaius Fles, please rephrase your question in something that these developers can comment on.
What
All
was this CVO?
I have no idea. Jimmy's gonna Google it. Nopara, where usually I know you're from Japan.
Yeah.
Nicolas, are you out in Japan as well or no?
I'm not. I'm moving around.
You're moving around. All right, cool. So you didn't present yesterday. Are you presenting today?
I'm presenting. It's the last presentation today.
You're the last presentation today. I should know that. I am emceeing the conference. But yeah, so what'd you think of the event so far? And what's the latest that you've been working on with Wasabi Wallet?
I think the event is great. It's very technical. I'm not sure a lot of people will understand it online, but those who are here, it's like perfect. On Wasabi Wallet, we are working on stability for now.
How big is the team?
Oh, it's like 5-6 people.
All right.
The problem is, which is not really the problem, that we don't have support. So the developers, I am the support. So we recognize that what are the things that people are asking for, but we don't want to answer it every time. So we just solve it in the code before the question would come up. So this is how we are working on right now. Yes.
So what was your motivation for creating Wasabi Wallet? Like what was, it's obvious that, yes, Bitcoin needs fungibility, but what was it for you personally that triggered the fact that, hey, I think I need to build this?
There was a cool project in 2015 called Join Market, and I wanted to contribute to it. First, I wanted to contribute to it in C#, then I couldn't connect their Python code with C#, but I ended up learning so much about fungibility that I just stick with it, and I was then working with Nicolas on Tumbabit, and while that didn't go that far as mass adoption, it just had a CLI, and then I figured, because the fees went up and Tumbabit transactions are, in Tumbabit you are mixing with multiple transactions. You are using multiple transactions instead of in CoinJoin where you are only using one big transaction. So the fees went up, and I figured, like, if we want fungibility, then we need to have the cheapest one. So, and that's only CoinJoin. That you cannot go cheaper than that.
All right. So you got a question?
Yeah. Since launch, I've seen like quite a lot of positive feedback about the wallet. What's the the road path going forward, like the most requested feature from like users and things like that? Is it a general direction or feature that you're hoping to work on or have worked on?
By far the most requested feature is hardware wallet integration. I didn't even plan originally at all because I never used the hardware wallet because I'm moving around. So I know if I have some physical possession, I'm under the assumption that it's gonna get stolen. It usually is, especially phones in London here. But but
yeah, I'm gonna try to. So during the conference yesterday, after the presentation of the hardware wallets by Stepan, which we will get to in a minute as it transitions well, I asked the audience a question. This is a Bitcoin developer event, and everyone here is a Bitcoin guy. There's not a single shitcoin shirt in the audience. I don't know, the BTCpay shirt maybe will count in the future, but and I asked the question, raise your hand if you do not have a hardware wallet, and Nopara's hand goes up.
yes, only my hand went up. I mean, I didn't know people use hardware wallets. And when I get into Bitcoin, no one did. People were using blockchain info, and well, things are changing. So things are changing, and so many requests. Our opinion went from not integrating, concentrating on privacy, not doing hardware wallet. It's too much work to definitely gonna do hardware wallets. And now the question is how. So I sit down how we can do it with today's hardware wallets, and well, we can do it, but we cannot do coin joins, which is just I don't like it because
It's not the goal of the project.
Yeah.
in Wasabi we had to introduce enough complexity for privacy, and I'm not going to introduce complexity for something else. But there might be ways to do coin joins with hardware wallets if hardware wallets are doing things, which just yesterday, Stepan.
Yeah, I was about to transition. I'm like, have you met the quantum physicist sitting next to you building the next generation of hardware wallets that Jimmy just attended his workshop where he built his hardware wallet? You have it? Oh, right there.
Yeah. I mean,
So you guys built this an hour and a half ago. Right there. So so let's transition over. Hardware wallets. What are you building that's going to be new? And is it something that could be transitioned into Wasabi?
Yeah, so the problem with CoinJoin right now and the hardware wallet support is that basically you start preparing the CoinJoin transaction in advance, but then you don't really know when exactly the CoinJoin will happen. So what exactly the transaction that you need to sign. So basically the functionality that we are missing in the current hardware wallets is that you need to have some kind of delayed payments, like you pre-authorize a certain action, and then when the CoinJoin server gives you the result, then you sign. So in principle, this means that current hardware wallets are good enough to use a normal Bitcoin stuff, like paying to PubKey hash. If you're using multisig, you already have certain problems because some of them don't support it the way they should. And so this was my trigger why I started doing my own hardware wallet. And I thought that ideally we should have something more flexible, such that things like Lightning, CoinJoin, or any kind of custom contracts can run on this. And well, I mean, in Bitcoin, we have a pretty good scripting language, and we are just not using them. And well, hardware wallets don't even think about that. They prefer to add support of another shitcoin. Yeah, so the idea of our project in general is just basically to rise it to the next level where the developers can work with the hardware that we will do and build this integration into the custom Bitcoin services. Yeah, so I gave a talk yesterday, just giving a rough idea what the hardware wallets are and what are the problems with them, because after the latest talks, people got really paranoid, and I mean, wallet fail in Leipzig was like mind-blowing. And yeah, people just need to understand where in the security kind of space they want to locate themselves and do the right choice.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the more interesting things was the workshop earlier today, where like you literally had these these boards, and we programmed them and put like private key on there and communicated via QR code with like so you could have like a QR code show up so you can pay to we put a testnet wallet and you can do stuff like that. I was just blown away with the fact that you could do that, right? Like these things are so programmable, and Stepan had written an HT library in C++ and made it available to be compiled and then like just directly put on this board, and it just works. I was just like, what? You could like, and this thing, guys, has a touch screen, so like you can at least when I had it up on the thing, I loaded it with the equivalent of an XPub, and it showed the address with a QR code, and you could go to the next address and previous address, and there was a toggle I was going to put for like change addresses and not change addresses. I want like a little UTXO Explorer and stuff like that. Incredible. I was like, wow, that it just absolutely blew my mind away. The fact that you could program your own, and this is a board that you could buy for like $65. It's kind of crazy.
And you can make them totally air gapped, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah. So the demo that I showed to Jimmy yesterday was basically using only QR codes to pass the unsigned transactions and then signed transactions back and forth. So basically, you use your online watch-only wallet to generate unsigned transaction. You scan it with this thing, and then you just check the transaction sign and scan again already the signed one and broadcast. So completely air-gapped with QR codes. What I like is that it's completely unidirectional, so you can't have kind of bidirectional communication with the hardware wallet. It is a pretty nice setup, I would say. And I wonder why current wallets don't really support it. Well, there are a few, but they're not really.
So speaking of that, and we also have the same question coming through our audience. Are you guys actually building a hardware wallet that's going to go up for sale through your company? You're working on that now, and what stage are you at? Any kind of ETA you can give us?
So we started recently. I started working full-time on this in November. So we already have the hardware partners and the security lab that will do all the security audits and programming for us. We planning to get the secure prototype for Bitcoin and Lightning roughly in summer. And then we will try to raise the funds and to actually get into production such that next year we can ship the actual product, commercial product.
All right, very cool. And
Go ahead. And don't forget, this is eventually going to support Lightning, which is going to be even more awesome because you can have the secure key here, and you can do the offline signing and things like that. So.
And this might be the only hardware wallet that will support CoinJoins.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, because for what they are doing for Lightning, it's kind of the same thing, same scriptability we need for CoinJoins. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. No shitcoins either. So.
Yeah, no shitcoins.
no, that's great. And speaking of Lightning, so while you were in Stepan's how to build your own hardware wallet, me and Nicolas were in the workshop by Fabrice, showing us how to use the Claire wallet and doing Lightning, creating 3 channels on your computer. Of course, it was a total fail for me. It was even worse than my attempt to set up a miner. Thank God I wasn't live streaming this disaster of me trying to set up my Lightning node. You have to download the Bitcoin Core client, which I didn't have on my computer. I mean, like, my programming days are so behind me. I can't even, it's embarrassing that I have a degree in engineering. But what'd you think of that class? And were you able to do it? Because I couldn't.
So on my side, I had no battery left, and I forgot my my plug.
Oh,
so
you
like,
could have asked me, because my computer was totally useless because I couldn't get my shit to run.
shit. But well, on my side, I already used the Clear in the past, so I know how it works. So well, I was not learning anything new, so I
Well-
try to help some people.
Right. Well, this was different than setting it up on your phone. Like when you set it up on your phone, maybe you can explain the differences. The one on your phone uses the Electrum server, right? It just connects to it when it's on your phone, but when it's on your computer, it doesn't do that. So you have to have a Bitcoin node in the background of your computer in order to use the computer version.
So actually, that's one of the problems that BTCpay solve. Actually, the easiest way that you want to for setting up a server with Lightning today, it's BTCpay. Like people are not thinking about it, but like if you want a LND node and you want easy setup, just install BTCpay. And the reason is that, as you can see, it's difficult. You need to run Bitcoin Core.
It was a little bit difficult. Like, yeah, you had to create some config files. Like, it's not for your average user.
You do have that that node launcher from Pierre Rochard that you can use, and that'll just install everything that you need with one click.
but
I
like-
think.
Is that LND or is that C Lightning?
I think it's LND.
It's
I'm not
LND,
sure.
or I think they support several now. I'm not sure.
I forget. They support it.
But so what is doing with this node launcher is more like for running Lightning on your laptop.
Yeah.
And you have lots of problem with this, because what if you close your PC, then when you power it up, then you need to download the block, like the UX is not good.
Yeah.
So on BTCpay side, I'm trying to focus on people having an easy way to have their own server with their own node and with their LND node that is always connected and like reliable. Because another thing is that when you create your Lightning node, you need to be reliable if you want people to open channel to you and to route the payments. So in BTCpay, I have kind of the same thing as a node launcher, except that instead of setting up on your
It's
PC,
not on a
it's on the
desktop.
server.
It's on a server.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, so in BTCpay, somewhere in the settings, you can have a QR code of your LND. So you take some wallet that support it, and you just scan the QR code, and it automatically connects remotely to your LND wallet. So then you can, with your mobile, you can just use your Lightning node.
Okay. And can it sign it, or does the server need to sign it, or can you sign it from the client side after you scan the QR?
Like when I scan the QR, basically it's only using gRPC or REST to talk with the LND. So like everything is happening server side.
Okay, all right. So all the signing happens server side. Yeah, I have a Nodolit, and that's a really cool device that basically runs BTCpay and has all of that stuff in there. And it's actually pretty easy to use. I think I've maybe used it on Satoshi Place a couple times, but and I should go order stickers from Blockstream. Really, what I need to do is to sell some stuff on Lightning, like my book when it comes out or something like that, and to get more people involved.
Yeah, I'm gonna integrate it. Like I tried, so I downloaded my first Lightning wallets on my phone. I downloaded Eclair and I downloaded Blue. I tweeted out my Lightning address from Blue, but I haven't gotten any. People have sent it, but I have no idea what happened there. So I've just been a total Lightning failure at this conference. So we'll have to do better, because there's going to be a similar conference to this one that I keep dropping hints, and I think some of these guys are going to be there, and it's going to be very similar. It will be. I'm not going to give the name of the conference yet, but it will be down in Malta in a couple of months, and it's going to be also, maybe I'll learn how to use Lightning there. Because we're gonna do these tutorials for idiots like me that can't seem to set it up still. All right, anything else you guys want to add before I have a little chat with Danny Brewster here about what he's up to these days? And to be honest, I bet you 80% of my audience have no clue who you are. At least 80. So it's gonna go well for you. Okay, wait. I got one last question to the quantum physicist, because everyone is always afraid of quantum computers. Can you please make sure everyone sleeps okay tonight from my audience?
Yeah, sure. So quantum computers are not there yet, and I bet that they will not be very useful for another 10, 20 years. So right now, basically, the main danger is breaking the Diffie-Hellman assumption that given your public key, you can calculate the private key for the
Discrete log, yeah.
Discrete log. So the so the algorithm that solved it, it's basically kind of factorization connected to the factorization of the large numbers. So current quantum computer can factorize 15 into 3 and 5. That's kind of a proof of concept thing. So we have like 100 qubits, 1,000 gates or so, but we need to go a few orders of magnitude more and more reliable and more data correction and so on. So I don't expect it to be useful in the next decade at least. Yeah, so we are safe, plus an extra defense mechanism. We also have hashing on top of the public keys, right? So I think we are good.
And I'm hearing that Schnorr should also make it a little more secure from the way it's gonna.
Schnorr uses a hash.
Yeah.
Schnorr uses a hashing algorithm, so that does sort of add something. But I mean, you got to understand, even with a quantum computer executing Schnorr's algorithm, which is the one that breaks discrete log, because of the way Bitcoin works, you need to execute 2 to the 128th operations, which is still an insane number of operations for a conventional computer. For a quantum computer, that's like kind of infeasible, and it still takes way too long to like appreciably do. So we're safe. It's not going to happen.
So just quickly, which is going to come first, quantum computing or nuclear fission that will enable us unlimited clean power for mining? Because that seems to have been 10, 20, 30 years away at all points.
It's all like speculators trying to figure out like when the next innovation is going to be. You can't predict innovation like that. It doesn't happen that way. And like current quantum computers, if you look at the actual engineering, they're like nano degrees above absolute zero with like all of these like quantum states and decay and all this stuff. There's no way they're going, like, just the engineering challenge of building something like this is like just so difficult and so expensive. Like I think 10, 15 years is actually really optimistic.
And I think that first what we will have is we will just switch to another public key cryptography like that is quantum resistant. Well, the only problem with quantum resistant cryptography is that no one can really prove that it can't be hacked with quantum computer, but at least it is assumes that it is hard.
But wouldn't that require a hard fork? And I know in that situation, a hard fork may be feasible because it's a do or die kind of thing. But wouldn't that, do you think there can be a soft fork of doing that?
Well, so we are adding the new signature scheme like Schnorr with the soft fork, right? So I think that adding another signature scheme can also be done with the soft fork.
So it would be another like SegWit version or something like that. So Schnorr is getting added as part of SegWit v1. It would be like SegWit v3 or something.
Okay, but Satoshi's coins are still lost.
Yeah. So that would probably be one of the first ones to try to be exploited. But like I said,
1 million Bitcoin.
Again, like the best known quantum algorithm is Schnorr's algorithm, and you still need 2 to the 128th different calculations. So that's infeasible.
And Satoshi's coins aren't in a single address, so it still won't be very simple.
Yeah, but they don't have a hash on top, so they are on the public key, just pay to public
and also,
key.
if you've reused your addresses, all of those are exactly the same as Satoshi's coins at this point. So this is why we don't reuse addresses, folks.
All right. Anything else? Want to ask the developers? Danny, are you considered a developer?
Not on this level. I don't consider a little bit of imposter syndrome sat here like amongst these guys. But I can certainly get Lightning working, and I manage that.
Oh yeah, thanks. That's great.
I've literally developed the first exchange that will enable people to go from cash to Lightning directly. We can deliver to your side of a new channel or across the network using cash. So yeah, it's.
All right, so we'll quickly remind our audience. So, Danny Brewster, you were the founder of Neo and B back in the day, around 2013, was it, or 14?
well, the idea was conceptualized in 2012, 2013. We expanded upon it, and then started the fundraising like middle of 2013. We opened the doors in February 2014. Then it exploded in a huge ball of flames shortly after we opened. But we never actually took customer funds or anything
So
like that.
you never took customer funds?
No, the software just wasn't ready. We was innovating with multi-sig at that time, trying to build like the most reliable solution. Because we was in Cyprus where the bank bail-ins had happened, it like kind of inspired the idea, which was a dumb idea. It was extremely flawed. The book stops here, but then there was a lot of mess and a lot of misinformation perpetuated across the community at the time, which is now.
Is it all over?
Yeah, well, kind of. It's all over with me in the wrong. That got all settled like 2 years ago. So now it's just like private litigation against the parties that basically made false accusations against me, tried to blackmail me out of all of the assets of the
So
company.
are you suing them now?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the help of the Cypriot police.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's the tables have turned. But during the whole scenario, I basically had to teach myself how to code again. And just built and iterated out through a product, and we literally launched last week. We announced.
Oh yeah. So what are you working on now? But before you tell us what you're working on now, so for the audience, I'm off camera. All right. So for the audience watching that aren't familiar with the story, please Google Neo and B.
No, please don't. Like, everything you read is pretty much wrong.
Right. Okay. So don't Google Neo and B.
I was quite literally. You should. I did an interview with Bitcoin Uncensored.
I heard that one.
Yeah, that basically just goes through what happened without naming names and stuff. So it gives an oversight as to what happened. And the beauty of it now, the only people that lost money were the people that invested in the company. And through the new venture, it's being put towards making them whole. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want them to, I didn't set out with ill intentions, which I've been labeled a scammer and stuff in the past, but I must be the dumbest scammer in the world because it cost me money, and I'm now back to work my arse off to pay those that back the company to pay them back.
So what is the new venture?
FastBitcoins.com. We've developed, I developed in my lost space over 3.5 years, whilst for the most part on bail, fighting extradition, and all the other like legal issues that went along with it. Taught myself to code again, and basically built an exchange that enables you to go from cash to Bitcoin through retail locations. We've developed hardware so you can go and buy a prepaid voucher. And you can also buy them through Bitrefill. We've just done a deal with those. So you basically go to a shop, your local convenience store, buy a voucher, redeem it through the website or the soon-to-be app.
There you go, like that.
There we go. So you can redeem it through the website, fastbitcoins.com. We are launching apps on iOS and Android to make that flow a little bit easier for mobile users within the next couple of months. And it basically enables you to go from cash to Bitcoin. And we also are the first to enable delivery on the Lightning Network. So you can buy a voucher from us and we'll open the channel and push.
So how do you buy the voucher?
You go to your local retailer that's one of our partners. We've got our own hardware that we're looking to distribute across the UK and Canada initially, with Australia following closely behind. We also have physical vouchers. So when you go to like a gift card mall, you can see like Amazon vouchers, PlayStation Network type vouchers at say in your supermarket or convenience store. You should have some Fast Bitcoins ones in there coming soon. So we're looking at 300,000 locations across the world in the first year. That's what we're aiming to
so
achieve.
What are the top 5 countries you're focusing on?
The English-speaking countries initially. So the UK, Canada, the US, not quite until we can either
Regulation.
Until we become profitable enough to be able to afford the lawyers to tackle the US market directly. So Australia, yeah, South Africa, is on the cards as well now. But also we've been contacted about a distributor for South America. So for like Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, those markets where
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can get Felix to like be the cameraman a little bit. I want you to like turn the camera to where people are talking. There you go. All right. No, that sounds pretty good. But like who would you say are your biggest like? Are there competitors in the space, or are you trying to like make other like things better? Because it sounds a lot like even what we had like back. It's like the reverse of gift, right? When you're using Bitcoin to buy gift cards, now this is almost like the other way around.
The gift is basically like Bitrefill. Bitrefill is a place now where people go to get their gift cards. But we're enabling people to go the other way from cash into Bitcoin. So
Gotcha. Oh, there we go. Let's see how our camera is now. Okay, our camera is good. So, all right, and you're based here in the UK.
Yeah. I came back for 5 days from Cyprus, and I'm still here now. I am allowed to travel now.
Oh, that's good. You travel again.
We met in Toronto.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
But you didn't do any time or anything like that. After
No. I never got charged with anything. It was only accusations. Even the European arrest warrant was an accusation warrant, and the accusations was funny to a point of how crazy they were. And it literally took a 5-hour interview in the Cypriot embassy here in London to get it all cleared up and demonstrate and show that the accusations were patently false. So it was.
Okay, so what do you think of the latest news with like Quadriga, the exchange where the CEO supposedly died in India and like $140 million worth of Bitcoin is lost? There's I don't know if you kept up with the news.
Yeah.
Now they're saying there was never even cold storage. It was always a Ponzi scheme.
Oh,
what are your thoughts on that?
I didn't know any of that. I'm out of the loop as far as that's concerned. One thing that I will say is I've been subjected to the whims of the Bitcoin community's imagination when they have nowhere near enough information to make a solid decision. Apparently, at one point, me and Mark Kapales were on an island, living the dream together, enjoying all the Bitcoin.
Well, yeah, your companies did kind of blow up around the same time.
Yeah, I'm a creditor to Gox as well, and I was self-funding.
So you guys lost money in Gox.
I lost money.
You lost money in Gox. Did you hear Brock Pierce wants to make everybody whole? That was the article that came out today.
Oh,
yesterday.
I have heard that there's been some potential new exchange that takes over Mount Gox as part of the civil rehabilitation plan and stuff. I did kind of have an inkling that it would be Brock Pierce that was behind it, but we'll see what happens there. There's still a long way to go, I think, until everything's settled with Mount Gox.
What are your thoughts on Mount Gox? Are you paying attention to that case?
I'm got a vested interest in that case. With regards to Mark's criminal case, or with regards to the civil rehabilitation.
Well, I'd love to get your thoughts on both. I've texted with Mark Kapales a couple of times. I would love to get an interview out of him eventually when it's all over.
I've texted him a few times as well, but I don't know enough about his criminal case to go out and say something. He did a year in Japanese prison on remand, and he came out looking like a new man.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's a lot slimmer.
Yeah, he's probably added 10 years to his life.
Yeah, probably
by doing that year away. With regards to the civil rehabilitation, I think the push from like Mt. Gox Legal and things like that has been brilliant, because at the end of the day, when they sold those coins on the market, whether it's a dumb idea or not, well, not at this moment in time, because the market has since collapsed. Whether that contributed to it or not is a different different matter. But the fact that it's gone to civil rehabilitation is just great, because it is the community that was together, that are the creditors. It's like a micro community within itself now, and it's just great for them to have a share of the excess coins, and so they're not going back to the shareholders that put everybody in that, like the main shareholders of like Stepan, so Mark and Jed.
Right.
Aren't getting the excess coins. That's the beauty of the Mt. Gox case as it stands now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a quick screen share from the Quadriga disaster, right? So the regulators in Canada are saying they're not going to do anything about it because they were never really registered. You know, there was an unregulated exchange. But the irony here is, like at the bottom of the article, you're gonna so here's this is what you mean about, you know, like nobody really knows what's going on. Let me see here. Oh boy. Where was it? Man, I can't find it. So basically, the company, the people that are left in the company, they filed for protection.
Bankruptcy protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's like the regulators are not going to do anything about it, and the company has filed for bankruptcy protection. So people that are trying to go after the remaining, heads of the company, they can't freeze their money. They can't do anything.
That's unfortunate. It's just part of law, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's awesome that, like, here, Vancouver-based Quadriga has been unable to access the 190 million. Who had the keys, administration umbrella, considering. Where was it? I know it was towards the bottom of the article.
See, basically,
credit protection. There it is. Those looking for recourse can't turn to the courts just yet. Quadriga CX was given creditor protection this week from Nova Scotia Supreme Court, essentially halting any legal claims against it while the firm gets into firmer financial footing.
Yeah.
So the company was able to protect themselves using the law, but the people that were trading on an unregistered, unlicensed exchange without any questions asked, they get nothing. And again, this is, if you guys don't want these companies to be regulated, this is what you're going to get, because they do have a company, and that company can't file for corporate protection under the law. But hey, if you guys don't want these exchanges to go through the regulation ahead of time, you're going to lose $190 million.
Yeah, it's, again, trade-offs. People want simplicity to get into an exchange and things like that, without overbearing like KYC and things like that. It's again, yeah, you're ultimately, as a user, you're ultimately responsible for where you send your coins to. And we don't know what's happening. Bankruptcy protection is a common thing. Even if they sold bananas and fruit and veg, they could file for bankruptcy protection. It's not just something that's specific to like
financial,
Bitcoin or
absolutely.
financial institutions. But everybody knew that they was unregulated, and like this was a risk that people had when they were sending their coins to them. It's not your coin.
Not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the words that wouldn't come
phrase.
out. Yeah, not your keys, not your coins. And we probably won't be the last time we see something like this. I'm not going to speculate on as to what has happened or who's done what wrong or who should go to prison for what. Hopefully, it all turns out to be a storm in a teapot, and they find some piece of paper and there is cold storage and the customers are made whole as much as possible, even if they were fractional reserve or anything like that. I don't want to see people lose money at all, but going forward, the regulators are coming into the space now, which can be of benefit, but it does also make things a lot harder. And all these exchanges, what they generally are doing these days is protecting their banking relationships. That is the vast majority of like
Right.
exchange time is spent protecting banking relationships. So hopefully, like going forward, it never happens again, and hopefully it gets resolved in the benefit of the customers.
All right. Well, I got one last question for you before I let you go, because lunch has been served and everyone is outside.
You got pizza again.
I got pizza again. Oh, so I can't eat that. But trying to be a little better with food. So you've been in the space since what, 2011?
No, 2012.
2012-ish?
I can't remember. Too long. Doesn't matter. There's people.
Yeah.
There's people that come in at like 2017 that probably
Right.
know
So
more.
what'd you think of the whole ICO boom and current bust? And people are always mentioning Binance. I personally hate Binance. I think Binance cheated by creating an ICO token and printing a bunch of money, because no exchange needs an internal token. That's pretty much a security. So to me, Binance launched their company by issuing a security on a company that didn't exist. But what is your whole take on ICOs? And they're calling them STOs only because they don't want to call it an ICO. What's your general
So
view on
I
it?
didn't even know that they was calling them something else. The way that we raised for Neo and B was dumb. It was like the ICO of its day, kind of, but without a utility token. It was just stupid.
Well, it was before Ethereum.
Yeah,
There was no ERC20 or
yeah.
anything, right?
I cannot stand them purely based on and some people might say, oh, it's rich coming from you, but it is people like just trying to separate fools from their money. And lots of fools are being separated from their money. And I went to a conference here in London a few months ago as I was meeting one of our retailers, and they had some free tickets to it, and it was ICO Central. And at that point, I knew the bottom wasn't in. I just spent a good 45, 50 minutes arguing with people that they don't need a blockchain for their diamond governance. And I could literally sit down with my laptop and recreate their entire business model using MySQL in a good 45 minutes.
Right, that's what I've been saying for years.
We've all been saying it for years, even when I was quiet for two of them. That it's horrendous, but I don't hold my breath on people learning the lesson from it. It will come around again, and it will be a variation on the theme. All promising people to get rich quick overnight, and there will be some people that make money, and there'll be a lot of people that lose money, and it'll be sad. But during that time, I'm just going to concentrate on building around Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only thing that really interests me in the space. I mined Litecoin when it first came out a long time ago, so I have been a shitcoiner with Litecoin. I thank Charlie Lee in Amsterdam in 2013 for the little bit of freedom that it gave me to be able to build the company. When I sold about 100,000 of them back then, I should have held them until last year.
Litecoin pump. Do you see a future for Litecoin?
No,
because I don't.
I just love Lightning and what it enables. The use cases, even with our business, because you can sell Bitcoins to us. You can pay us via Lightning or on chain. And you can go to one of our retail locations that participates, and you can collect the cash. Somebody here yesterday was like, I found you on bitcoinonly.com because you're a Bitcoin-only company. And it worked out cheaper for us to sell the coins to you and then collect pounds here, because they came over from Miami. They got a better deal than selling on an exchange, withdrawing to their bank account, and then withdrawing pounds from their bank account over here. So it's like a completely random use case that I didn't really give any thought to for international travelers that have access to our locations.
I'm still waiting for, walking in, getting out of an airplane, walking into the airport, and before I go out of the airport, a way for me to convert Bitcoin into local fiat without paying the ridiculous percentage fee at the airport exchange rates.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm traveling from random countries to random countries. My backpack has 8 different currencies in it right now.
The way in which we work with that is we'll charge you 3%. Our exchange rates and our spread is really tight. We've not loaded the exchange rates. We charge 6% for unregistered users to buy Bitcoin. Some people may balk at that, but we have merchants to deal with. We have to pay them a commission. We are here to ultimately make money as a business. but we're not loading the exchange rate. The exchange rate, you can go on our exchange rate on our website now. At fastbitcoins.com, you will see the exchange rate and the spread. We give a fair rate, and we charge 3% for you to sell coins to us. And the rates are generally honest rates. They're calculated across multiple different exchanges. We're not loading up with different percentages hidden within the rates and stuff like some ATM providers.
Oh, I think I'm supposed to be working.
I think we should wrap this up.
Oh nope. I have till 2:15 before I have to start work. No, because I'm DMC. I looked at the lunch break yesterday, not today. Today's lunch break starts now, and it lasts for 45 minutes. All right, good. Sorry about that.
So we found a use case. Literally sat at a table over there yesterday.
This just happened.
Business. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
When somebody from Miami was trying to sell some coins, and they found us on bitcoinonly.com. So.
All right. No, that's great. All right. Any closing thoughts? I know my viewers want to hear about the price of Bitcoin, so I'll probably pull up a chart, and we'll end it here. We're gonna do a morning brief with a couple of stories, but we mentioned them. Brock Pierce taking over, trying to recreate Gox, that whole Quadriga thing, and didn't even mention Leah's. Man, are you allowed? You can travel to the U.S., right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can travel. It's really annoying because it's actually harder for me to get back into the UK than it is to actually get in. We had a family holiday to Tenerife last summer. Took the missus and the kids, and as soon as they all walked through passport control in Tenerife, phone call for me. It's still on some of the systems that.
You're still on.
I have a letter from the High Court that basically says everything is cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
you have to carry that with you as you travel.
Yeah, I do. It just makes it easier. But that's generally in Europe. I had it when I went to come back from Switzerland. I got into Switzerland okay. I come back to the UK and they stopped me getting back into the country where I live. But they've cleared it off all the computers in the UK now. It's just some of the other European countries.
Gotcha.
But I can travel anywhere. I don't fancy trying to get into the US just yet because I just know it would be a huge headache. They would stop me and it would be hours sat there explaining everything, regardless of the paperwork that I've got.
Well, if you got a year next Unconfiscatable and poker tournament. You play poker?
No, I don't like to gamble. I don't gamble on football. People my biggest gamble is that Bitcoin's going to change the world.
Yeah.
In 50 years time.
You took the big gamble on it, and man.
Some people would say, "Oh, that's paid off," and like, it's not been easy.
Yeah, you took the gamble, and you lost a lot of your own Bitcoin in that gamble.
Yeah, absolutely. But people I don't want people to feel sorry for me or whatever. I've still lived a very privileged existence because of Bitcoin. So.
Yeah, no, really appreciate your time, and this is like the third time we met, and it's always been great conversations, and yeah, guys, so don't believe everything you see out there from the Neo and B debacle back in 2014.
Most people haven't got a clue what it is.
Yeah, I know.
I walked into here yesterday.
Anybody recognize you besides me?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
But I've met them before.
Oh, okay. Well, you're local. This is in your hometown.
No, I'm not local from London.
Well, but still, like the UK at least. At least you're local countrywide.
There is 70 million people in the UK.
Yeah. but if you walk into other conferences, like they'll have no idea who you are.
If it's ICO led and it's people coming in.
I can walk into an ICO conference, they have no idea who I am. Like, it's happened. Like,
I don't care about being recognized or anything. I'd rather people recognize the brand and we've used the new company and things like that.
All right, great.
There's much smarter people than me to speak to. So leave them to it.
Yeah, well, clearly everybody is. I'm the only idiot that still can't figure out how to use Lightning, but like everybody else seems to.
I will show you personally.
But it'll be great. Hey, thanks. Nice, man. Hey, guys, hope you enjoyed those interviews. The conference is pretty good, and hopefully, I already said Malta, so the next similar conference to this with all the Bitcoiners will be in Malta. We'll try and get Danny Brewster there as well. If he wants to travel around Europe and take a chance. All right, so, well, I'm going to do screen share. Let's glance at the price. Let's see what's going on. All right, here's the monthly chart. The monthly chart has been the same for a couple of days. Nothing's really changed. Not a good candle. You can tell right from there that your monthly candle is on a brand new. Wait, I have a mic clipped. I don't need the other mic. You can see that the monthly candle is at a brand new monthly low close. Now the candle has to close this way. We're only 7 days into the month, and we will see how the month ends, but you are on a 7 of 9. I'm still hoping that we can bounce off the 50-month moving average. We can go up, maybe hit the trend line again. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to give my long-term projections in an upcoming video soon. Tomorrow is my workshop, so don't expect a video tomorrow. The weekly chart is bouncing back a little bit. We're at 33.95 right now. We're once again bouncing off the moving average. Now, this moving average can continue to support Bitcoin. I'm still, I still think we're going to break below this. We could get to a 9 on a weekly. So sometime in early March, we can bounce from this area of 3,000. And I still think we can go all the way up to 5,000. And all that will do is prolong the bear market into 2021. I mean, maybe into almost certainly into 2020, maybe even into 2021. I mean, everything that I see right now is pointing to a longer and longer bear market. Just doesn't look like there is an end to it. If I see an end to it with charting, we will do it. Hey guys, how are you? Almost done. Yeah, this is fun actually over here. Good people. And here's the daily chart. The CMF looks pretty good, but it's about to die down. So if you look at the daily chart is on a 6 of 9. We do have a little bit of a bounce here. The 5 candle did give you a brand new low close on a swing, but it wasn't that far lower. In order to get a 9, you will have to go to a brand new low. I still think that is very likely to happen. So I am looking for lower prices. I don't think this bounce is something to, write home about. Don't really see much out of it. Let's see if the 12-hour chart gave us anything useful that could have let us help time this drop. Well, the low did come on sequential 13. You did get a red 2 below a red 1, giving you a bigger opportunity to short. You are back above the blue line. You're being rejected by the moving average. I would call the 12-hour chart neutral. I would call the daily chart bearish. The weekly chart is bearish. The monthly chart is bearish. Here's the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is neutral, borderline, slightly bullish. So the short time frames, here's the 1-hour chart. I don't think there's anything here. I think we have a couple of more hours of upside, get to 3,400 where we already are. I think it's going to struggle. You get a few more hours, pick up that 9, and that will be about it. Oh, you good? There you go. And I think that will be about it. I'm more curious about the stock market here. Look, the shorts, look at that. So people are piling into the short trade and the long trade. They're both spiking to the upside. The shorts are spiking more than the longs. Let's see how this relationship unwinds, or if I don't know why everyone is leveraging their longs and shorts simultaneously. That doesn't normally happen. So I'm not sure what people are anticipating. Maybe there's a news event coming. The GBTC premium is currently pretty low at 11%. So let's keep an eye on that as well. Gold is pulling back up. So it sounds like the stock market should be down. And I warned people the other day, yep, I'm not surprised at all. I warned people the other day, hey, you have a reversal candle on candle number 8. Here comes the 9. So, I mean, I called this one. Go back to my last video. I don't think I did a video yesterday, but the video from the day before was very, very clear to inform people to get out of the stock market and do not hold it into the weekend. I actually thought this candle was a Thursday candle. It was a Wednesday candle, but that didn't matter. That's a reversal candle. The following day, shit started to hit the fan. That is a 9. Very unfortunate that the 9 didn't stick as a 9 going into the close. Very unfortunate. This was a 9 throughout most of the day. You should have gotten out of the market. And right now, I am looking for a 1. Sorry, guys. Right now, I am looking for a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then probably back to the upside because we never completed the sequential 13, and Wall Street loves the sequential 13. Here is the weekly chart. The weekly chart has pulled back completely. Stock market has not yet opened. It is, I don't know if you can see my, it is 8:45 in New York right now, so the stock market has not opened yet. Let's see what happens there. I'm actually want to go to the daily chart. I want to go to the daily chart on the cash market, see if we got a 9 on there on the sequential, or did we flip to a red 1 just like in the futures? Because the cash market and the futures market do tend to be different. Yep, it's the same thing. Unfortunately, we never printed a 9, but this was a 9 nonetheless. It was a 9 in my code, not in the actual Wall Street code. So I would be staying out of the stock market right now. I would let the pullback play out. This pullback may lead to a complete bear market in the stock market. I am still generally bullish the stock market. There's no reason to panic yet. I believe that as long as the S&P stays above 2,600, it is in a new uptrend. If we go below 2,600, it's over. So you still have about 90 points to go. That's what I am looking at. Once again, I am coming to you from Advancing Bitcoin Conference on my oh yeah, guys, please check out the affiliates page of my website. You can support by signing up for TradingView, TourGuard, Blockchain Cruise, Bitcoin Live. These actually give me a little bit of a kickback if you do sign up for these. I will be on the Blockchain Cruise and looking forward to enjoying that one again. Leah published an article in Forbes, which was taken down by Forbes. And it was about Unconfiscatable and the poker game. The pictures, I believe, are out from our beautiful photographer, Daisy. And we're going to put up all of the professional pictures right in here. The next conference is coming in 2 months. The website is not yet available. Registrations are not yet available. That's coming next week. I have already dropped the location. It will be in Malta. Lots of developers involved. It'll be lots of educational stuff on how to use Bitcoin. It's going to be absolutely awesome. As far as my workshops go, did we add new workshops? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the Unconfiscatable site. Everything is just hectic. 2 more workshops are coming. I'm going to India, guys. India will be here. Probably, oh, maybe I should restart the website. This might already be up. Hold on. Let me refresh tonebase.com. This is all last minute. My schedule changes. Like, no, it's still not up. Between Bangkok and Vienna, I will be in New Delhi. I'm going there for the search of the Fadriga CEO. No, I'm kidding. I'm going there to speak at a conference, and I will test out the India market for a potential workshop. And I think I am gonna go to Hong Kong. After that, after Vienna, I'll go to Hong Kong. I'll try to do a workshop there as well. So you can find me in these locations. Just so much to work on. Putting together another conference, this one in Malta. Already dropped the name, but not the name of the event. So the website's coming. All right, guys. On this note, I'm gonna get going. I gotta MC the event, and I will, let me stop the screen share. Talk to you all on the next one.